Good morning. Happy Wednesday to you all. Hope you are doing well. This is Meena Puri with MICS. So I thought today I would do something a little different in the sense that I'd like to have more of a conversation with you instead of making a presentation while I fix my screen. It's chopping my head. So again, there are a few thoughts that came to my mind this morning and see what I wanted to share. And I think it is important to share that, the summer season is happening and how that affects our digestion and our health and what some of the things that we can do to adjust to the season. And if you are joining, I am going to be looking at my cell phone to see if there are any comments. I would love to have a conversation and an interaction with you. If you can let me know you're here, and if you have any comments and questions, and at the end of that or in between, I'll be checking on my cell phone to see if I can, chat with you right live while we are here. So let me know you're here, and if you have any comments and questions. So let me mute that. And so very good. So thank you again for being here. Let's talk about the summer season. Summer, the temperature outside is hot. How does our body adapt to that heat? One of the ways that a body adapts is it dims the digestion. It dims down the digestion. That's why many times in summertime, we feel a little heavy, a little lethargic, like you just want to take a nap in the afternoon. And on the other hand, what also happens, the food is abundant, the daytime is long, socialization is, a lot, and food is at the center of all of that. So what happens is that we actually end up consuming more during the summertime, and many people will, get surprised. Why am I gaining weight in the summertime when I'm eating light? Or they think that they're eating light. So what I can address today is what happens to the digestion. So the digestion is slowed down in the summer to accommodate for the external heat. So what does that mean for us? What that means is that we need to be in tune with that slow digestion and not eat heavy things. Naturally, in the summertime, there's a lot of fresh produce available, but at the same time, there's also a lot of consumption of cold drinks or ice cream or dairy products. And on the surface, it feels like a great day for ice cream. And it's not that you can't have ice cream. But what any cold, heavy things do is that they dampen the already slowed digestion. So that's where Ayurveda goes a little deeper than our taste buds and then our normal way of thinking. We have to think a little deeper. So it's not that, the body is forgiving. Of course, go ahead and enjoy your ice cream, but be mindful of how often and how frequently and the quantity of it. Another thing you can continue to do in the summertime, which is also counterintuitive, is to sip on warm or hot water, because what we want to do actually is have a cold drink, put more ice in it, have icy cold lemonade. So again, it's not all or none approach. I always like to just go in the middle where life is real. You do the best you can. So what you can do is be mindful of that. If hot water is too hot, then at least don't put ice in your water. At least make it room temperature, or at least make it warmer. So you can sip on that throughout the day. And also things like ginger tea, which is a natural digestive aid, and mint tea. It's a digestive aid, but it's also cooling at the same time. And if you are, going to make lemonade, then make it with raw sugar, make it with some mint leaves, and don't put a ton of ice in it. Not throughout the summer. Every now and then you can, But just so be mindful that in the summertime, our digestion is slowed and we don't want to be consuming, even though counterintuitive, the icy cold meals and foods and beverages, because it'll dampen the digestion, it'll come in the way, it'll create weight gain and toxicity. So come fall, we actually begin to feel very heavy when we thought we were going to feel lighter after having come from summer. So, okay, so keep that in mind. And the second thing I wanted to talk about, I thought it would be important to talk about food combinations and what Ayurveda has to say about that. So, you know, there was the food combination. Again, these problems, these issues that we are having, they are a product of our modern abundant lifestyle. Okay, and so we've got to kind of address these problems or challenges so we continue to be healthy. So one thing is not to combine meat and dairy together. Meat and dairy are both animal products and they're both very heavy to digest. So when you combine them together, they don't get digested well, and that's not a good idea. So whatever is not digested is going to create toxicity in the body. A common things that we do living in this world is meat lovers pizza, or pizza which has meat and cheese in it. So when we look at it, we think, how in the world am I going to be done without it? Well, when you do vegetarian pizza, then that's not a problem. Okay. And if you do like your meat, and we'll talk about meat at another time, and maybe if we have time today, you can get rid of the meat and just don't combine meat and cheese together. That goes for sandwiches, when people put, cheese and bologna or cold cuts or things like that. And that also goes for and then we don't combine milk and cheese together. It's like having a grilled cheese sandwich with cold milk. That's another problem, okay? So we don't want to be doing that. And milk, I'm going to talk about in a minute. So no meat and sandwiches and milk. Milk should be consumed after you have brought it to boil. Milk is a big concern here because of the quality of the product. Long time, if you are from India, way back when cows were treated very well and they were free roaming and they were part of the family, they were loved, that milk is nutritious milk. That milk acts as a nurse. So milk is really revered in Ayurveda, but we have to keep in mind the quality of the milk that is available here. So what you want to do with milk, milk should not be consumed with your meals. Milk and salty meals and spicy meals don't go together. And I heard someone saying that, drink milk to lower the acidity. I don't recommend that. It needs to be separate. There are other ways to lower the acidity, and milk is not one of them, because it's like you're trying to lower the acidity, but you're putting another layer of a toxicity right in your digestive system. So milk should be consumed alone. You bring the milk to boil. I like to boil it with some ginger or some cardamom. What that does, it breaks away the mucus producing components in the milk, and it makes it more digestible. And it's actually, frankly, it tastes better. And that's how you want to drink milk. Many times there's this Ayurvedic drink that you can do, which is bring the milk to boil, add some turmeric because it's anti-inflammatory, and a little bit of honey, and you can have that. You can put a little nutmeg in there or cardamom powder in there, and you can have milk at nighttime. Milk is a laxative. It's also a great sleep aid, and it's also, some people are used to doing that. It's a wonderful thing to do. And what else? And also, we don't want to combine fruit and cheese together. It comes to my mind because there is this a new recipe coming about, which is grilled watermelon with feta cheese. I know the combination, when you look at it, I'm sure I'm sure that it tastes good because there's the juicy and sweet watermelon, and there's dry and salty cheese. So the combination on the surface looks really good. But this is how I want you to think about it. Think about how each food item digests, okay? Fruit digests really quickly. Fruit also has a lot of sugar. Cheese, on the other hand, does not digest quickly. So when you combine them together, the fruit has digested with the sugar, and it's sitting there waiting for the other cheese to be digested and broken down and broken down so it can then move into the next channel of being assimilated and absorbed. Well, while it's hanging around for the cheese to be digested, the sugar in the fruit will ferment cheese, which is already fermented. Fermentation means inflammation, and that's inflammation in the body. And that just creates acidity, that creates toxification. So although it sounds really appealing, I don't recommend that. But again, on the other hand, if you want to give it a try, give it a try. I'm sure you'll enjoy it. But I want you to look at not just at the, our taste level. You want to look at food. Remember, food is medicine. So if food is medicine, we can't just think about its taste. We have to look at the post-taste effect, post-digestive effect. We have to know what the food is doing in the body as it's moving through the gastrointestinal channels and what is happening to the body. So once we understand that, although it may taste really good, who wants to create toxicity and sluggishness and problems in their digestive system? No one does. So that knowledge can help us. And so food should be eaten alone. And melons, again, same concept with melons, them being very watery and juicy and high sugar content. When we eat them with even other fruits, suppose we eat melons and bananas. So look at the texture of both things. Melon is very crisp, light and crunchy. Watermelon is. Banana is very dense, heavy, moist, and thick. So it's kind of like you're coating the digestive system with this sugary thing, with the sugary layer that will sit around for a while and can cause indigestion. So keep the fruit alone, or especially eat the melons alone. There's a saying that eat the melons alone or leave them alone, okay? Another food combination is, those are the main ones that come to my mind that you can begin to use, and we talked already about not to use icy cold drinks with your meals, because anytime you drink icy cold drinks, it reduces the efficiency of your digestive system. It liquefies the digestive enzymes, and then your digestion is sluggish, okay? So a hot cup of tea or warm water or ginger tea, just a cup is fine if you need to drink it, but really wait half an hour before the meal, half an hour after the meal. You don't want to be consuming a lot of liquid, okay? And yogurt is another thing that it's so hard to, it's so hard to break that mental shift and what we get here. Fruit and yogurt is everywhere. So if I ever do get that, I may eat the yogurt, I don't eat the fruit at the bottom. And that's become a new thing. It's been, people love that. It tastes great. Again, fruit and yogurt, we don't mix together. Yogurt is heavier to digest, fruit is not. So things that are like that, we don't combine them together in one spoon and eat them, because then we are creating problems. Again, once in a while is one thing, but once we have this knowledge, we can perhaps cut back and pay attention to how we feel when we consume something like that. And just hold on a minute. I'm going to see if there are any questions or comments here. And yes, So we have talked in the last two sessions on how to, have the largest meal during lunchtime. And one of the things that the last thing that I'm going to talk about is mindful eating. And this is something that we can continue to work with, because until it sinks in what it means to be mindful, we will repeat the same old, which is eating quickly and eating while we are thinking about the next thing to do, or eating and talking. And so when we do that, our psychological satisfaction suffers. So for example, when you're eating in front of TV and you open a bag of chips, or you're opening popcorn, or even if you're eating a meal, because the full attention is not on the meal, our attention is diverted because you're watching a TV or movie or having a conversation, then you're not fully present in enjoying the meal. What happens that makes us eat more, because the psychological satisfaction isn't there. So we continue to reach for another bite, hoping to get that satisfaction. But unless we pay attention, we're not going to get that satisfaction. So hence, we begin to overeat, and we also misread our signals of being full. Okay. If you ever notice that, give this a try. You've eaten your meal and the mind is still thinking, because food, who doesn't love food? I want a little bit more of that. So we immediately go and get a second filling. But if we take a pause between the first serving and the second serving, you may notice, if you give it even 3-4 minutes, you may notice that, you know what, actually I'm full. I don't really need it. It's the mind that's not satisfied. So if we really become mindful, here's what mindful eating looks like. It's really, food is such a joy. Food is a gift of life. To be able to cook our meals the way we want them, to be able to sit down and enjoy the meal, it really is a gift. It's a divine act of nurturing oneself, okay, nourishing oneself. So, cook the meals with love. There's no rush. And hopefully this, pandemic has reduced the mental hurriedness, that we can slow down. At least I'm experiencing that life is meant to be like that. We don't accomplish more just because we are hurried. We actually enjoy less when we are hurried. Life is about being present. When we are present, it creates a fuller experience, and then we enjoy life more. Cook with love. Take time to, set a plate for yourself. Sit down, take a moment, take in the sights and the smells of the food and the aroma, and, offer a little gratitude as to thinking about how many hands were involved in getting that food to your table. Somebody planted the seed, somebody harvested it, carried it, transported it, and how much effort was created. And then you cooking it, how much effort was created in us enjoying that meal. So just offering a little gratitude and thinking and asking that, may this food, I always say, may this food nourish me. May what's on my plate be enough for my body. And then really taking a bite, chewing well. When we chew our food well, we extract all the nutrients. Then the sweetness comes when we are chewing the food really well. So that kind of satisfies our craving for sweet taste. So, give this a try. Chew the food really well, and you will begin to feel the sweetness, taste the sweetness in your meal. And so, and another thing to do is, many times we take one bite and ready to shovel the other bite in our mouth. I'm guilty of that. I've done that too. But I also know how to slow down. And then I notice the difference, so I can share that with you. And is to just really pay attention to what's in the mouth, what you're enjoying. And put the fork down and then take the second bite and the third bite. So just slow down the speed. and taking in the colors, the textures, the taste, the aroma, and how it makes you feel. You know, when you're eating something, it's like, it tastes so good. That is psychological nourishment. And that we need that. It's the lack of the psychological nourishment that we continue to overeat. We're trying to fill a gap somewhere. So we think extra bite is going to satisfy it. But if we take the extra bite the same old way, it's, you know, the hunger remains. So being present, enjoying the meal, and taking time, and also after the meals, don't rush to run off to something next. Take 5 minutes if you can. Take in the experience. And then getting up, just the process of clearing the dishes, washing the dishes, makes your body move a little bit so all the energy does not, you know, so you don't sit after the meal. And sometimes that happens in the afternoon, siesta, Mexicans, you know, people do that in India, Mexico, but that's where the weight gain comes in. So we want to move around a little bit. And if we just naturally, you know, clear the table, put the things away, kind of close the kitchen, that naturally gives us some movement. And then, you know, the heaviness that comes will go away because we have taken that time to move around. And one word on heaviness, if after a meal you're feeling heavy, lethargic, that's a sign of overeating. There's a sign of overeating. There's a sign of maybe eating heavy food. So pay attention to that. So with that, I'm going to see if there is anyone else here. So with that, I will take your leave. Enjoy the video. If you liked it, please let me know you liked it. If you, anytime you watch it, you know, leave me a comment. I love to hear from you. And if you think this was useful, share it away. So we will we will be back talking about nutrition. And, you know, your questions and things will kind of give me a direction, because the Ayurveda nutrition is such a big umbrella. And I don't necessarily want to teach a course on Ayurveda nutrition, preparing slides and all of that. I'd rather have a conversation with you. I enjoy that more because then I can address your particular concerns and challenges right there and, you know, lead you in the right path. So I would really appreciate any comments that you have, any questions you have, and I look forward to meeting you again in 2 weeks. So be well, and thank you for being here. Thank you for watching.